Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Softline. I'm Nancy Banigo, and with me today I have Queen Esther. Hello, Esther.
Hello, Nancy.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hello, viewers. It's really good to know that you are there today. Just sit up, sit tight. We have a lot up our sleeves for you today, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on anything.
Absolutely. So, Esther, how have you been?
Well, I've been good, Nancy. Events here and there.
Oh, tell me more.
Trends here and there.
Really?
Good and bad. Soft kidnapping.
Yeah, talking about the kidnapping. You heard about the story of a woman who claimed, who was trying to share with people the new tactics these kidnappers use these days, you know, somebody stopping her on the way, claiming they know her, you know, and you can imagine when you stop someone, when you see somebody like a man and a woman, you know, the man trying to say, oh, you are my wife, you want to leave me for your boyfriend and all that, and people passing will say, oh, this one, what they call it, family matter, please leave them, and you just end up leaving these people, not knowing that this is just an act. So what's your take on this? You heard the story, right?
Yes, I heard it. In fact, Nancy, it's so pathetic. First time I read the story through, I was like, is this for real? But then I had seen that story, though in summary, by some other poster online.
Okay,
but
that was not the first time.
Yes, this particular person took the time to detail the incident. So when I read through, I was like, these guys are desperate. The perpetrators of kidnapping. This is broad daylight kidnapping. And they have their targets. Once they get out there on the streets, they find you walking alone, they just come and then they try to call you by a name that is not yours, and then they accuse you of running away, of being an ex-lover who extorted them and jilted them, and then they just bundle you, dump in the car, and zoom off. And you know, the way we are in the contemporary African society, you know, sometimes pedestrians don't get to ask questions.
Yeah.
They just hear from one side and then they conclude. Like in her case, a woman was there and was like, all these young girls, it's even good you have caught her. Very good. This serves her right and all of that, you know.
My goodness.
Even when she tried everything she could to, you know, rescue herself from that situation, it didn't work. Until someone she patronizes came
someone
by.
who knew her.
Yes, and was like, oh, auntie, what's going on? What are you doing here? That was the savior. That was the Messiah.
And then there was something she said that caught my attention. It's like the kidnapper himself, the guy who attacked her, he's not the only one in the gang. I think it's a gang of there are gang members, right?
Yes.
About 5 of them or so, because according to her story, there were some persons there saying, oh, good for you, this is how people behave. They were all part of the same gang, right?
Yeah.
So you could just be passing and hear people talking by the side and say, ah, that's what they do, and then you say, oh, so this is what is going on, and you just say, oh, let it be.
And do you even know, another guy came to save the situation, asking what he was driving past, so he saw it and started to, you know, stop. So he alighted from his car, walked up to them, asked the lady. So the lady held on to the guy. As the guy was talking, oh, please, do you know her name? What's her name? The other young man was like, oh, you are the one. Reverse psychology. Oh, you were the one. She actually ran away from me to go and camp with. So they now made the two of them culprits. And the entire mob were against the two of them, including the guy that doesn't know the lady and the kidnappers, who only came to save her. He was trying to ask, so if you say she's your wife, what is her name? The guy said, don't ask me that question, you know, and started accusing him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's they don't walk alone, actually. They have their syndicates. The driver is there, of course, and they have 1 or 2 other guys that will plant around to monitor the environment for them, so that if it's like trouble is going to break out, they can zoom off. So when that last guy came on board and then alarm was raised that they are kidnappers, that was when they took off. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So this is another way kidnappers are, you know, carrying out these evil plans of theirs. So this is just calling on the public. It's just like creating an awareness. And especially for us Africans, when we hear things like this, we tend to mind our business. It is time we start looking out for each other. When you hear people screaming or asking for help, regardless of the circumstance you meet these people, try to render some help. Even if you can't do anything at that time, try to get help somewhere else, because sometimes we might not be in that right position, frame of mind or anything to, you know, to be able to render help. If you cannot, try to get help for that person. You wouldn't know. You'll be saving a life instead of looking the other way like it doesn't concern you. Today is someone else. Who knows who it will be tomorrow, who the victim tomorrow would be. Could be you. So try not to look the other way when you see someone calling for help in public. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll introduce our guests as well as our topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you know what gamalin 20 is? It is a dangerous chemical pesticide never meant for human consumption. Sadly, some fishermen illegally use gamalin 20 to catch fish, poisoning not just the water, but the food on your plate. Here's how to spot fish caught with gamalin 20. Fish that look unusually fresh but stiff. A strange chemical smell, sometimes like kerosene, when cooked. Pale or bleached gills, peeling scales, or sunken eyes. Eating such fish can cause nausea, vomiting, and even damage your liver and kidneys. In severe cases, it can lead to life-threatening health complications. Remember, using gamalin 20 for fishing is a crime. It harms people, rivers, and marine life. Protect your health. Buy fish only from trusted sellers. Report suspicious fishing practices to the authorities. Together, let's keep our waters safe and our meals healthy.
The overall function of the Parliament is adequate representation of their constituents in state echoes to federation.
Removal of fuel subsidy, resources to critical sectors such as education and health. A call to unity and progress of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
NAS Unplugged is a program that will highlight topical issues from both chambers of the National Assembly, from bills, motions, and constituency projects.
Guys have it.
Catch the program on ADBN TV, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays as we bring you activities of the National Assembly as it affects the people.
During the flood disaster in Maiduguri and its environs.
For increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
The eyes have it.
NAS Unplugged, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m.
Welcome to FCT in Focus, your window to the vibrant heartbeat of Nigeria's capital. We dive deep into the core of the FCT, exploring how key policies and decisions shape lives across the city. From exclusive insights into the FCT administration to voices from the streets, we bring you stories that matter. Catch FCT in Focus every Saturday and Sunday at noon. Tune in for the latest stories directly from the nation's hearts.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Thanks for tuning in. Language is the heartbeat of culture, and literacy is the key to unlocking opportunities. Today, we're exploring the world of multilingual literacy with Mrs. I've forgotten the Johnson, Ekemini Johnson. She's a passionate advocate. She's a doctor, actually. So let's discover or let's embrace multiple language and see how we can enrich lives in our communities. So, Dr. Ekemini, I don't know why I'm calling you Mrs. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you so much.
Thank you for finding time out of your tight schedules to come sit with us today.
It's my
pleasure.
pleasure.
Really appreciate
it's
it.
my pleasure.
All right, so we're discussing multilingual Listen. Okay, so when we talk about literacy, how does it come to you? What do you think it is about?
Okay, well, literacy is just the ability to know. It's just knowledge.
Okay.
So knowledge of anything. So we have we have health literacy.
Okay.
That is the knowledge of health. We have life literacy, whatever. So it's just knowing. That's all what literacy is all about. Just knowing. So if you now want to focus on language, just say how much language do you know, or how much of your language do you know. So in particular now, I'm looking at the mother tongue. So how much of your mother tongue do you know?
You know, in this fast-paced world, people keep saying language. What's the place of language in today's world? So what is the importance of language? Why do you think we need our mother tongue?
One, for culture preservation.
Yeah.
Because if I don't speak my Ibibio language, I don't expect the Chinese to come and speak it for me. And Jud, I was even surprised that my friend outside said that there are some Chinese actually learning Ibibio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and then those of us that were born with, shall I say, with Ibibio or into the culture, we don't want to learn the language. So that means that, are we now saying that there will come a time when foreigners will now be the one teaching us our
own language?
Language. So it's important for culture preservation and also for connectivity. You know, if we come here and then I am saying something else, and I'm saying something else, and then we don't understand ourselves, we can't communicate. And if there is no communication, there is no progress. And it is not surprising that God had to bring misunderstanding, miscommunication, when he saw that people were actually, trying to get to what a particular goal. He said, no, let them not speak the same language. So once we know other languages, we can connect, we can communicate.
Okay.
And then another reason is for peace, because if we cannot communicate, there is no peace. There is no peace, and without communication, of course, too, there is no progress. So knowing your own language and even going a step further to know other people's languages I think is very important.
That's how you want to go?
Yeah, back in the day, language there wasn't really any issue when it comes to language. It was almost automatic. Talk about early 1920s, 30s, and like for our forebears, right? Children were born and then automatically they adopted the language. Even in schools, we were told they used the mother tongue to teach them back in the days. Wasn't an issue. But today you find that even the children, where the parents are willing to teach, they don't even want to learn. What are the ways, what are the strategies? How can we encourage the younger generation to open up their hearts towards learning their mother tongue, so that we can avoid, loss of, language in the future?
I think the first thing is to avoid stigmatization. There is this, as in, if people are just, I try to say, they feel embarrassed. I don't know why.
When they speak their language?
Yes, they just and then they feel that it's that when you speak phonetics and you can speak, the British or the US, that it means that you are janded, as in that, of course. and so people that have that intonation that marks their English language are seen as, I don't know, not well taught or not well trained in English language, and also not intelligent, like you said. So there's a lot of stigmatization there, and also parents, because if Ibibio is not spoken in the house, there is no way the child would adopt Ibibio as the first language.
Okay.
So now you see children speaking English as their first language and not the mother tongue as their first language, because the language is not what is spoken primarily at home, and so that now brings me to usage.
Okay.
So if you're not speaking the language every time at home, there is no way a child would adopt that as the primary language that the child is learning. And of course, by the time you fill form for like scholarship, to ask you what is your primary language. And I'm always laughing because now, in short, I think that every child now, his or her primary language is English. Mm-hmm. But they expect that your primary language should be your mother tongue. Mm-hmm. So usage too in the home would help the child to adopt the language. And now moving away from being stigmatized is also the way the language is taught. Because if something is not interesting, now youth or say young people that they like as in like fast, just want to pick up fast. So now do we have programs or pictures or videos
to make it more interesting when learning
in the mother tongue? And how are the teachers presenting this language? Are they really looking interesting at schools for the children to want to learn? That is another thing to also look at. And then also the mode of teaching too. Okay. We are being taught in English. So, and because I've also thought about it, because I don't know, I think it could be kind of difficult to teach mathematics in Ibibio. I don't know, because how are you going to say pi? I don't. Is there any Ibibio version of pi radius, for example? So we are not using our mother tongue primarily to teach, unlike other for example the Chinese. Okay, they use their language to teach whatever
it is they want to teach.
Yeah, so, but we're not doing that here. So that also kind of puts our language behind. So a child is forced, or not forced, like has to learn the English to be able to even do well at school. So
when you were saying this, and I was wondering, when you mentioned if there are ways in Akwa Ibom you can mention those mathematical terms, if they could have such in Chinese and French, we can have those. It's just that we've never taken it serious. And I remember somewhere I read where they said some time ago during General Babangida's regime, they wanted to make the Wazobia kind of major language, what they call official language, and there was so much objection to that. So perhaps if they had done it then, we wouldn't be here talking about multilingual, children, how to make children learn how to speak some of this language. So my question is, we know how tough it is. We know how gendered, like you said, parents want to be these days. I don't know, parents see this pride when they see they feel so proud when they see their children speaking, with this British accent or American accent and all that. And even employers are not helping matters. Like when you want to work in a radio station and you have that accent, nobody's going to employ you. They want you to speak fion, all those things. Yeah. So it has really made this language thing become like, if you speak this thing, man, you are not woke. You don't belong, and all that. Yeah. So what are the ways, what advice would you give so that we can bring it back, bring back that, when an Igbo man speaks, it's an Igbo man speaking. I love the Northerners. They don't care, no matter how educated a Northerner is, that tongue, he's proud of it. He can even twist in Hausa language in his English speaking and all that. So how do you think, what advice would you have for us to bring back that, I don't know how to put it, just to make people have interest, even if it's not your own language, just to speak one Nigerian language?
Okay, I think it starts with what you're doing to sensitize the public.
Okay.
To just let people know that it is okay, as in to speak English, and then you have those tonations that that marks your English language because of your primary and native language. It is okay. You know, my I think there is one particular name in Italian that is quite difficult to
pronounce.
Yes,
okay.
just quite long. And so one of my colleagues said that okay, his name is Ubong Abasi. So they tried to pronounce it with English tone, like
okay.
Ubong, or that's like, of course, with the English accent, yes. So she insisted and said, no, my name is Ubong Abasi. The same way I am struggling to pronounce whatever names with
you're making me pronounce.
Yes, with the right intonation. So you should also try and pronounce my name with the right intonation.
Yeah.
So it begins with people knowing that it is okay for you to speak English and then sound like a typical person that comes from Ibibio. And also people should stop making fun of it, because comedians, so they're not really having issues. So I am making fun of the say a Yoruba person speaks this way, and those things subconsciously make people want to like
being careful when
talking. And anything that the subconscious just takes it, he would even like try to fight against it or make it better in a way. So it starts with that. And then the next thing too is also for people to take ownership of the language. Just as in, let us know that it is our responsibility to preserve our language.
Okay.
It is my job to ensure that I speak Ibibio and try to get people around me to speak Ibibio. And something else that I would also want to add is if we could can we have develop our language further, like you said, get to have the Ibibio versions of things, have books in Ibibio that that is interesting, have more programs in the language, and I think this too would also make people to want to learn.
I think now it is even a problem now. I think we are further taking ourselves backward with the new curriculum. Esther, you see the new curriculum, I think they excluded some of those languages, because I remember my son came home the other day and was so excited that Ibibio is no longer compulsory for him, because it was like a nightmare for him, so the excitement. So I think we are in bigger problem now, trying to revive our language speaking culture, and here the government is taking it out from our syllabus and all that. So and now even the French is no longer compulsory like we used to have back in those days. It's now optional, so if you like. So it's just like, I don't know,
back to square one.
going back to square one.
I was even going to ask
okay,
if on a global scale, right, if you would advise, how many languages do you think an average African should speak? And what would those languages be?
Wow.
For them to position themselves as global citizens?
Well, it's you just asking yourself, where is the power shifting to?
Great.
Because I think once you can answer that question, then you know which languages that you would love to learn. Yeah, to learn. Of course, we are speaking English already. So the next thing I'll say Chinese, since now China is trying to show some
world leaders.
Learn to speak the language and also learn to write. And then you can, of course, French too is important. Then I say, okay, Germany if you want, because as it just, you could learn all the languages of the world powers. I think you are home and dry. So that's a lot of work and intentionality.
Yeah, intentionality.
If you actually want to learn, but of course it is not impossible.
But then come to think about it, apart from being intentional or apart from putting in all efforts, some people do have this talent. Like they just listen to language and because I speak 7 languages.
Wow.
And I've never seen myself sitting down to like start learning how to do this. So some of them I don't even know how I learned them. I've never been to these states. I just have friends, you know, and they say these things, they speak them and I just pick it up.
Wow.
You know, so I think some persons just have that gift of speaking, but seriously, like you said, if you can speak this world power language, you are good to go. You're good to go.
Let's not also forget the language of the deaf and dumb, the sign language.
Oh, very important.
Yeah,
very important. And September is World Sign Language Awareness Month.
Yes. So imagine that I would say most people could sign language. That will really bring a lot of inclusivity and also make, I say, the differently abled. I don't want to say disabled now. Differently able to feel among and also be part of a community.
In fact, I buy into that because for the French and Ibibio to be expunged from the curriculum,
oh goodness,
it would make a lot of sense to add sign language for inclusion because we have learners who are impaired, you know, hearing and speaking and all of that. So it could help their classmates communicate with them. And I hear the people who sign make a lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Because we have few of them.
International events.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are quite few of them. And then imagine that you can sign other languages.
Wow.
Wow.
So I think I was with a sign language instructor about last month. So he made me to understand that even sign language has tonations. So he said that the way that you sign good morning in English is not the same way that you sign a message. I was like, oh, okay, quite interesting.
Really? That's a lot of work.
That the same way spoken language has its own different, different languages. That sign language too has different
variations.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you. So that's
wow.
Tells us that there's a whole lot of work to do. If you want to learn.
Talking about learning, a whole lot of work. We have technology to make it easy now. So let's talk about the role of technology in all this. We now have apps that you can go there to learn how to speak your French, learn how to speak Mandarin, how they call it? Mandarin, Latin, Greek, anyone, you know, so.
Wow. Nancy, do you know, I was even thinking, for the guys who are deaf, right, they listen to music too.
Yes.
Could our musicians also sing in sign language or something?
What? Esther, if they say the lyrics in sign, how would they put the rhythm?
Exactly.
Would they put the rhythm?
In beats, in timing, say, hello,
it's
following the beat like that. So that deaf people can also enjoy music. Because I see though in church most times, during praise worship, the people signing will be singing. When they're saying, praise the Lord, hallelujah, they'll be doing it with their hands. And those ones too will stand there. They're not talking. You're just watching the person signing, and then they are doing this during praise worship. When it's time, maybe the praise leader says, everybody clap your hands, clap. You see all of them doing like this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is a lot of inclusivity there. A lot. So I strongly believe that it is possible, because for you to even think about it, that means that there's a possibility. It's just for someone to explore.
It's just going through my head. I'm just trying to understand how possible that would be.
Wow.
But it will be a nice thing though. And it's another way for us to also encourage people to bring in this sign language. We still have stations. We still have people who don't consider, you know, using this sign language. So I don't know, do people have advocacy for that?
Yeah, we do. But of course, the issue is places to even go and learn this Like in my profession, we have only one doctor that can actually sign.
Wow.
And he has tried to teach other people, but you know, it's not.
They're not interested. Like it's boring.
No, they are, but
it's stressful.
It's not stressful. One, the facility. Two, for him to, and then also the materials to the teaching aids.
Yeah,
it's also a challenge. But he's actually willing to teach.
Okay. So how about medical schools adopting that as a course?
All right, we'll go on a very quick break, because when we come back, we'll talk about that, the place of multilingualism in the medical field. We'll go on a quick break and we'll be right back to continue with the discussion. Stay with us.
Do you know what gamalin 20 is? It is a dangerous chemical pesticide never meant for human consumption. Sadly, some fishermen illegally use gamalin 20 to catch fish, poisoning not just the water, but the food on your plate. Here's how to spot fish caught with gamalin 20. Fish that look unusually fresh but stiff. A strange chemical smell, sometimes like kerosene, when cooked. Pale or bleached gills, peeling scales, or sunken eyes. Eating such fish can cause nausea, vomiting, and even damage your liver and kidneys. In severe cases, it can lead to life-threatening health complications. Remember, using gamalin 20 for fishing is a crime. It harms people, rivers, and marine life. Protect your health. Buy fish only from trusted sellers. Report suspicious fishing practices to the authorities. Together, let's keep our waters safe and our meals healthy.
Thanks for being there. So we're still discussing multilingual literacy with Dr. Johnson with us in the studio. Let's take some few tweets before we come back to Dr. Johnson. Okay, so I have my first tweet here, and he said, I love being multilingual. It's awesome to connect with people in their own language and get a kick out of understanding everything when they have no idea I can. I love that. In fact, I love that part. You know, I speak so many languages, and so when I get to places, I just pretend like I don't know what they are talking about. And then when he, like for instance, when he hits, like they say something that I just have to respond. I respond in the language. I did just respond in the language. I just
like, ooh.
I tell you, I just loved that particular moment. All right, so my next tweet is saying, in the process of being multilingual, I have reached at the point where I think in one language, speak in another, and write in some alien one. Brain is not braining anymore. I understand. I understand well. And then the last tweet here is from Ademola, and he said, noticed something interesting about multilingual people. The ones who succeed in business choose their language moments carefully. The ones who struggle use every language all the time. Selective beat frequency. This is absolutely interesting. All right, so we're asking you a question. When we're talking about the medical field, what we begin to wonder, what's the place of a multilingual in the medical field? Why do you think doctors should also be learn lots of language, including the sign language we're talking about?
Oh, that's quite interesting. Now, to you know, before you can make a diagnosis, you need to ask what we call history. That's do history taking. Okay. And that involves asking the patient what is wrong and some questions that will help you to understand the symptoms better. And also you now move to examining the patient, and that also means that the patient needs to communicate with you and get you to examine properly and understand his or her body well. And when there is no communication, you cannot know what is wrong with the patient.
Absolutely.
And so if I am saying I have headache in Ibibio, and then the person that I am coming to for help does not understand Ibibio.
That's catastrophe.
We have not communicated.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine.
Because one could say, okay, I can go and do some tests, but now, there are diverse number of tests to be done for headache. So if I don't understand the type of headache, where the headache is coming from, it means that the patient would spend almost all his money running tests, and there will be no patient satisfaction there.
Absolutely.
So it's very important that that doctors or medical personnel are multilingual for understanding of the patient's problems, and also to get a patient to also communicate back.
Yeah.
And then also, for example, even after possibly you have gotten to know what is wrong with the patient, now how do you get the patient to take the medications appropriately? Still goes back to communication, still goes back to language, because even in English language it's not so easy to explain how medications have to be taken, because some patient can hear, for example, you take one drug morning and evening. He may hear take 2 morning and evening, and so imagine that you are speaking English and then there is still this I'll say misunderstanding.
Okay.
Then what if there is no understanding at all? So that also also contributes, and if the patient cannot take the drug well, it could lead to resistance. It could also make the health problem persistent, and the person still comes back spending much more money, and the end, God forbid, a life may be lost. So
but now you've seen this problem, right? Do your colleagues also see this problem? Is it a problem in the medical field?
Definitely. So that's why we have interpreters. Like it's even so. For example, maybe a Yoruba doctor that works in Akwa Ibom, seeing patients in an Akwa Ibom-based hospital would need an interpreter.
Oh, but I've never seen an interpreter before in a hospital.
Yes, because most times we improvise. We use either the nurses or the health attendant. But now it's, the person that is interpreting needs to understand the language, because there are, I'll say, for example, pain. There are grades of pain, and so if the person does not understand the language properly, he may not be able to characterize
the kind of
pain that the patient is saying. May just give her own understanding.
And you treat based on that understanding.
Yes,
my goodness.
Yes. So it's important, and even for the differently abled persons that cannot hear or speak. That one is in short. I saw a patient, I think, and that was last week. She was about 14. She was obviously sick, but we could not really say what was the problem. So I could just I just gathered some info from her caregiver, which of course just she can't sign. That is, the caregiver cannot sign. So she just assumed, and I just said, kind of got to understand what the
child is going through,
was trying to say. And so we just did the most that we could, examined, and then also gave antibiotics. But the child thankfully recovered. So
that was a great risk.
Yes, but but without proper communication, there is always
now we've seen the big gap. There is a very big gap that needs to be filled, because you can misdiagnose,
of course,
because of lack of communication. So it's either they start getting people who do the sign language thing and people who can interpret, not just the nurses. Get an interpreter. How are you going to call them now? Nurse interpreter or medical interpreter?
But interestingly, I don't think governments even advertise for that. I've not seen any adverts for interpreters.
That's an opportunity that is yet to be explored.
I've not seen that, because people just assume that anyhow that they will get to understand what the patient is saying. So
I think the way they mitigate that is by sending the states or like doctors from the same state, so that we don't have language barriers and all that. But now that we have a limited number of doctors, we can be posted anywhere, so you just have to be.
From that, now that we have people that can't even speak Ibibio or understand Ibibio, so what is so in the next 10-20 years, well, who knows? Let's just see how it all unfolds.
Now, are there medical conditions that could mar one's chances of speaking certain languages?
Okay.
In terms of, we have language is spoken, right? One aspect of it is the spoken part, right? So, and then I know we have several organs or so that allow for articulation of certain sounds and all of that. And could there be certain conditions that could impair one's chances of speaking or learning?
There are some congenital problems that could lead to that, but thankfully there are quite few. There are quite few, but the most common it's not necessarily a congenital problem. It's the mode of delivery. Because a child that delivers and then that child does not cry immediately could have problems with learning generally, not just language per se. No, so it's important that mothers get to deliver their children at the hospital where where they'll be attended to by a health personnel, and also get to register and carry out their antenatal processes, take vaccinations and all of that, because this holistically helps the child and gets the child to have a high IQ and also able to learn.
Wow.
I'm glad you asked that question, because sometimes I begin to wonder, well, if there are some things people are born with that makes them prone to understanding this language, and something people are not born with that impair, understanding some of this language. Now, doctor, do you think there are policies the government could implement that could aid in people, just probably to enforce? Because we're trying to revive something that is almost in the extinct, right? So are there policies you think that the government could implement that would help us revive this? One, I can tell you, bringing back those languages that they removed from the curriculum.
Because me, I'm even wondering why they would do that. I don't know, but of course, I want to say maybe they have experts. There is something that we say that policies, most times the people that make policies are not at the grassroots level.
They might not even understand.
They may just possibly just get someone from wherever to make those policies, and the people don't actually know what is the problem at the grassroots level. Because I'm wondering why they should make English language optional. It does not really, shall I say, speak well of the policymakers. So now, so what can government do? First of all, like you said, is to revive the curriculum. That's 1, 2. And
when you say revive the curriculum now, what do you mean? Do you mean, like, for instance, we're in Akwa Ibom State, they should make the language here compulsory?
Yes.
Or your own mother tongue, like you're from the East, Igbo should be compulsory. You have a class where you learn your own language. You're from the North, you have a class, they teach you Hausa language, just like they do for religious studies. You're a Muslim, you go to the Muslim class. You're a Christian, you go to CRS class.
Yeah, because it is just too-pronged.
Okay.
Either you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. But for language, Nigeria has like so many languages that if you want to go by that, having people to teach would be a problem. So you would be creating another problem while trying to solve a problem. So instead, we could say, let it be state-based. So the dominant language of the states, then people can learn, you can make that compulsory for people to learn the dominant language of the state. So for example, Ibibio should be compulsory in Akwa Ibom State.
So all the languages could be optional?
then maybe, I don't know, depending on the ties that Nigeria is trying to make with other countries. So they could say, okay, then, for example, maybe French or Chinese, whatever, because already English is compulsory. Has come to stay. So they could add another language to that. And then also, government too can sponsor competitions in those languages and reward people that can speak those languages properly. And, you know, and also gets all the influencers, you know, to because you know, since we are now in social media, you know, if they can get one of those
top influencers,
yes, to I don't know, say something about the Ibibio language or commit to speaking the language for a period of time, before you know it, everybody will start looking at it, and then it will now look tush, you know. It will look woke that you can speak Ibibio. Oh, that is wow. So that there are things that government can do. Employ teachers in those languages and ensure that,
or train teachers.
That yes, train teachers and also employ them so that they know this language, and then they can teach it in ways that are easy to understand and also interesting. Get teaching aids. And also ensure that there are teachers at least in every government schools, and get private schools to also employ teachers to teach, because of course because we have a lot of private schools here in Akwa Ibom State, and I think that will go a long way.
Absolutely. I appreciate those suggestions. I appreciate those suggestions to improve multilingual literacy. It's very important. Okay, so Esther, I don't know if you have another question you want to ask her.
Nancy, today's session has been really eye-opening here, particularly to aspects we've never given thought to, and you know, that just came up while we were, you know, brainstorming. Okay, so that was a nice one.
All right, so you know, I liked the program you guys went for. I asked if people had an outreach, or was it just in the paper? Did you guys go out like to encourage people to be multilingual literate, or was it just?
Okay, it was majorly on we did a social media campaign.
Okay,
and but for me that day I talked, because I talk to young people a lot.
Okay.
So I actually reached out to some young people. Also, every young person I met, I asked, can you speak Ibibio, or you are just speaking just your English? And you know, it got them thinking, and also got them laughing too, because most of them could not speak Ibibio. So I was even saying that possibly I should have maybe like done a research that day to actually know the number of young people that can't speak Ibibio, because when we have data, that's when people actually say, oh, this is true.
Absolutely.
But when people are just assuming, they may be thinking, no, it's not that correct, or that people are just assuming. So that's what I did, and I also tried my best. Although, you know, language also, it's a thing of, like, for me, I speak Ibibio too. But you know, because it's kind of, I don't know, since I try to speak Ibibio, but I'm not that fluent.
Okay.
And I don't even know why I'm not fluent, because I grew up here, basically.
So what happened?
I don't know.
You gotta explain.
I can't explain.
Okay.
But I actually encourage people around me to speak, and when I am talking to young people, I use Ibibio.
You know, I understand your pain, and I know a lot of young people who cannot speak, and not because they don't want to speak. Many of them, you know, now have high rate of interstate marriages, where the husband is from this side and the wife is from another state. So you begin to wonder, they communicate in English in the house. So you see lots of these children cannot even speak one language. They cannot speak the mother's language, they cannot speak the father. Back in the days, they would say, oh, the children will grow up to learn the mother's language, because mothers will always speak to their children. But that's not obtainable now, because most mothers are forming for net, so they don't even speak these things in the house. So you end up seeing these children not knowing how to speak any of the language.
Another thing too that I think is contributing, which I forgot to add, is that most young people are glued to the TV and gadgets. And what languages is being spoken is English.
It's English.
So you see a child that has never even gone to school already picking up the tonations of the cartoon.
Yeah.
So they speak.
That's what they see.
Yes, because that's what they see most of the time. So if we could leverage on that and have
cartoons in our own tribes. Yeah.
Sure. Children will just start to speak.
I've seen that. I've seen that in Igbo language. I saw a cartoon in Igbo language.
I start watching it and watch it. But because for me, some of the cartoons I've seen, they're not really age appropriate in Ibibio languages. Yes. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. I've not really seen
so there are cartoons in Ibibio language?
Yes. No, but they are for teenagers. You know, just most of them are comedies and about some whatever it is, but if we can do that, that will also make the children to know that even Ibibio is in the internet, and they'll be excited.
All right, so our guest is just focused on Ibibio just because she's from Ibibio. Well, I'm not from Ibibio, so I'm also going to focus on my own language. So I'm also speaking for people from my own side too. So everybody should at least speak one language. Is very, very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for coming on the show today. One listening to you would not think you're a doctor, but some kind of linguist.
Yeah.
Well, you did a good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so as we wrap up today's discussion, we hope you gain a deeper understanding of the significance of a multilingual literacy. Thank you to our esteemed guest, Dr. Johnson, for coming to enlighten us, giving us our own perspective. So until next time, from all of us, stay curious, keep learning, and celebrate the diversity of language that enrich our world. Bye-bye.